Hi, and welcome to the Stitious Podcast. I'm your host, Connor.
And I'm your co-host, Tash.
Welcome.
Welcome to yet another episode. Today is a little bit different because we're going to be doing an episode specifically about your ghost stories and your ghostly encounters. So we've gathered a few and we thought that this would be the perfect time to share those with everyone.
Yeah, and thanks everyone that sent, the stories in. It's very nice to get some new perspectives, see it shakes anyone up.
And to recap, last time we had the episode, Connor was a non-believer. And I was firmly on the believer side.
I feel like everyone who does believe in ghosts has a ghost story.
I don't necessarily agree with that because my mom's never seen a ghost in her life. And my aunt, one of them, has never seen a ghost in her life, but they believe.
Unless it happened to me.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear people's stories, I'm always like, it could be this.
Yeah.
Could be that.
Okay.
Because there is stuff in my life where I wouldn't say it was ghosts.
Yeah.
But, you go back, you look, something's moved. Like there was a time where I had a shower and then I was pretty certain I put my boxes on the floor, but yet they somehow ended up on the hook.
Do you ever put your boxes on the hook?
No, but I don't remember not doing it.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But
you're just in denial.
But if that's a ghost,
yeah,
it's a pretty shit ghost. Oh, what? You've moved my boxes to be from the floor.
Do you want it to murder you? Do you want it to kill you?
Yeah.
No.
To be honest,
no.
You'd have me
Some
believe
of them are just like little tricksters and they just want to little prank you, bro.
Oh, you got me good.
Temporary confusion. Gotcha. Okay, so I will be reading out the stories and then we'll sort of just be talking through them. So our very first comes from Sean in Zimbabwe and Harare, which is where this happened. So I shan't forget it. Yes, he said shan't. It was the middle of the night and I got up to use the toilet. I look at the window and notice a grown man standing on the other side of the window. Bruh, it was not a shadow. I believe it was a dark figure trying to enter the house. I was like, nope, not today. Covered my face and went back to sleep. I thought, at least I'll die peacefully in my sleep, but I'm not going to go all Scooby-Doo and go investigating. The next morning, I had a look where the person would have been standing, and there was no trace, no footprints, nothing. It even looked cleaner than all the other windows outside. I thought maybe it had been a prank at first, but nobody who lives in the house is that tall apart from Tawanda. But he was sleeping in the same room that I was in. America explained. So that was Sean's story. Wow, he didn't exclusively say ghost. He said a figure in the window standing there, not moving.
Again,
tall,
unless
to be specific,
you
tall.
see it.
Yeah.
You don't know exactly what has been seen.
Yeah.
Because that could just be a reflection.
A reflection?
A reflection, yeah.
How?
I don't know the science, but it could be a reflection where a light shine through and it's created like the thing. Like, have you ever heard of, I don't know what it's called, but it's like Casper's ghost or Charlattan's ghost?
No.
Where you get a mirror and a light and you shine it through.
Yeah.
And it creates like a little projector. Oh, you have to have smoke as well. And it creates like a projector of you onto the smoke and it looks like a ghost. But it's like if something all happens at the right moment, it could just be like, oh, it looks like there's a guy there.
But what about the window being cleaner than any of the other windows outside?
Maybe it's just a clean window. Maybe he opened the window more.
One window.
Yeah. Maybe they open that window more because if it's his bedroom window, it gets hot, you open it up.
Interesting.
Where maybe in the rest of the house, you just don't open the windows as much.
I think my favorite thing from this is the fact that, first of all, he was just like, nah, I'm going back to sleep.
I wasn't going to Scooby-Doo.
I can relate to that one. Going back to sleep is always a vibe. It's always like a thing. Has that shook up your mind?
No. I wouldn't say, not particularly. I'm not convinced as of yet.
Wow. The second one comes from Shannon in England, Hertfordshire. When I was young, like maybe 8, my room at my dad's was kind of weird. I had windows above and next to the bedroom door that looked onto the landing with blinds over them, and I also had a built-in wardrobe with sliding mirror doors. The bed was in front of / parallel to the mirrors. This was great when I actually needed a mirror or whatever, but as soon as I would go to bed, I'd be so scared to look into the mirrors. So if I needed to turn over, I would not open my eyes at all. I guess in case I saw something in reflection I didn't like. I always just thought I was being dumb, but I swear a couple of times that I did open my eyes and look in the mirror when I was in bed, I saw someone or something outside my bedroom door through those stupid windows, And yeah, maybe it was my dad, but it just gave me bad vibes. And why would my dad just be standing outside my bedroom door for minutes on end for no reason? Have you got thoughts? You chuckle.
I mean, that would be weird.
That would
That's
be
just-
really weird. Yeah, exactly. Just staring at you, and you're like, okay, weird. Anyway, I never said anything about it to anyone, but eventually we moved my room around so my bed changed to the other end of the room, away from the mirrors, and I was much happier and just didn't think about the scaries. But then, a few weekends after we moved it around, every night I was there, I started hearing footsteps of someone coming into my room without opening the door. Now that I think about it, walking to the end of my bed, pausing, and then walking around to the side of my bed and just standing there. At first I thought it was just my dad coming to check on me, so I pretended to be asleep. But then I would hear him downstairs and be like, oh, that's weird. Again, yes, it could have been my dad and he wasn't actually downstairs, but again, why would he do that? I also never ever heard them leave the room or move away from the bed, but I never dared to open my eyes and look. Eventually, I turned it into kind of a game to make me fall asleep quicker. Like, oh, it's the sleep inspectors, better not open my eyes and just pretend to be asleep. And it worked, not gonna lie. It was kind of scary at first, but I never felt bad juju from it really. Just a bit weird, and I knew I didn't want to, so I shouldn't look at whatever it was. A couple of years or something later, I moved rooms and it stopped, and I never experienced it again. Fast forward a few years, and I'm talking to my dad about ghost hunting shows, and he's telling me about experiences he's had, and he told me that when we were younger, he and my stepmom would always hear footsteps on the landing and see a shadow that looked and sounded like a little boy running across the landing. Dun dun dun! They, of course, just thought it was one of my brothers, but anytime my dad would sneak up to check on them, they'd be fast asleep. He usually would catch them if they were actually out of bed messing around, but he never did when it was this shadow boy. I asked him if it was running towards my room, and he said yes. Bruh, I was shook. I was like, yeah, I think he would come into my room and watch me sleep. Just to clarify, she sent a, the skeleton emoji? The dead. Yeah. He said he never got bad vibes from it, and they learned to ignore it eventually. And once we had some building work done to the house, it stopped entirely. Of course, there could be very rational explanations for all this, but I choose to believe the house or my room was haunted by someone or something that now, I hope, has found peace.
I'm not gonna lie, in the first half I was kind of like, but then the second half kind of got me. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Well, okay. What specifically got you? Let's talk about it.
Well, to be honest,
Okay.
I know exactly what she means. Like when you're asleep, if someone comes into your room.
Yeah.
I've always just assumed it's been my parents, but now it's like, oh, what if it was something?
Oh, yeah. Especially when you're that young, like, hey, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, particularly for those who are light sleepers. Oh.
Yeah, because you always do that pretending when you're like asleep, like in the car or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, just pretend I'm asleep. It's my parents. I can't remember why. You just do pretend to be asleep.
Because you want to be carried to your room.
Oh,
Let's
in the
be
car,
for real.
yeah.
In the car, you're like, I want to be carried to my room. I don't want to walk. Let me pretend to be asleep. And they would. It's always tragic though when you get too big to be carried to your room. Yeah. Everyone has to have experienced it, even if you don't believe in ghosts or whatever, where you hear something. It might be like a creak or something that bangs on your window at night outside, maybe like a animal or like a tree, something hitting against it that makes a sound that wakes you up, and it's the darkness creeping in, and you're just like, I don't want to open my eyes because I don't know what's on that other side. It's like terrifying.
The scariest thing is the unknown.
It is the unknown, but the little boy running. Ooh.
Yeah, especially like running towards
Yeah.
her room as well.
I'm actually shocked though that she never at any point asked her dad, like, hey, why do you come into my room and just stare at me at night? Like, what are you doing? I would. That's the first question I'd ask.
Well,
Like,
no.
what are you doing in my room?
Because
Just staring at me sleep.
My parents used to do that. They come in and check on you.
Yeah.
I guess it just makes sense when you're a parent.
Well, you gotta make sure your child's breathing.
Yeah, but I would never assume my child's not breathing.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I would. I feel like I'd be like, oh my God, what if my child just stopped breathing? Let me go check on them, make sure they're okay. Or like maybe falling out of bed, or like
Okay, yeah.
maybe they're not sleeping for some reason.
Yeah, but normally kids would just be loud, they'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, I want water, or oh, I can't sleep,
From my experience with my siblings, it's sus when they go quiet. You're like,
What they do.
it's a little bit too quiet. I'm too at peace. what's going on. So then you go and check on them.
The story,
it got you a little bit.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not
but you're still firmly like...
I would have to experience it for my like belief to be changed. I really think, like, as much as like that has thrown me,
yeah,
like, unless I see it with my eyes, I just don't think I could believe. But it's interesting that it was another, like, it was to do with reflections as well, sort of.
Yeah.
'Cause he didn't like the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah, true. The first one was window, and this is mirror, windows. Yeah, I think it's because there's something about windows and mirrors, specifically mirrors. I mean, it's like a big thing, right? Where it's like they can reveal things that you can't see. They can trap
It's supposed to be like
stuff.
portals or something.
Yeah, so maybe we're sensing a theme. I don't know. Well, in this next one, it has nothing to do with mirrors or windows. I know I just said we're sensing a theme, but retract the statement.
No, but it's like, different situations.
Different situations, yeah. This one is kind of, it's different, but it's kind of interesting. So this is from Memory in Zimbabwe, and this was in Rusape. So this is the encounter that I had. I was at my grandma's village in Rusape. It was me, my 2 aunts. We went to the shops. The shops were about 5 kilometers away, and we went in the afternoon. It was December during the rainy season, which is when you typically see the most Harare ghosts. So we went to the shops and it started raining heavily. And in the village when it rains, it's heavy. It pours. So we couldn't come back because we couldn't find any transport. There were no cars that we could jump into, hitchhike around to get home. So we waited until the rain had subsided so we could make our way home. But the rain continued and continued up until I think around 8 p.m. And village darkness is total darkness. It's like the darkness of darknesses.
Yeah, pitch black darkness is different darkness.
God. In the countryside, where most houses don't have like electrical lights and electricity, so after a certain time, people go to sleep. Usually about 8. Boom, candles are off, fires are out, people are going to sleep.
It's like when you shine the torch and you expect like, a wide volume of lightness.
Yeah,
and it's just like that little tiny that little spot just in front of you, and the sides are just still complete darkness. And you're like, damn.
So it's completely dark and it's raining, heavy rain. If that was you in that situation, bearing in mind you're like 5 kilometers away, are you braving it, or are you like, I'm gonna stay here and
Well, I gotta get home.
You gotta get home. Yeah,
it helps that there's more than just me and my own.
That's true. It's three women. Yes, that's fair.
But still scary. But again, I'll say I'm already in a scared mindset.
Yes, you
so
are.
Anything I see.
Yeah, but you do have to bear in mind that these 3 women are sort of used to this kind of environment, as in used to, we know it's going to be heavy raining. Maybe it's unusual in the fact that it's like, there's not going to be any transport to take us back. But they've been in that situation before.
Yeah, but
still a little bit on
is
edge.
Always scary.
But you're not like, I don't know where I'm going, I'm completely lost. You are like, I know my way home. Cool, continuing. We've bumped into a distant relative, a grandchild, who's quite elderly. He was on his way somewhere. You know how the village people just always stay in random places. He said, girls, let's go. I'll escort you as far as I can before I branch off into the direction I'm supposed to be going. Still on foot. So we continued walking on a really wide road. The rain subsided and all that was left was thunder and odd lightning, dramatic with the total darkness, and just that one bolt of lightning felt almost like a floodlight. It was giving us glimpses of the route that we were going, so the lightning was actually guiding us. We were talking stories, enjoying each other's company, walking, and then the grandchild said, I'm going, girls, and then branched off while we had about 2 kilometers left. He just went into a bush and disappeared. That sounds really weird, but I get what she's saying.
I'm
because
just picturing that memes, where people jump into the bushes, just doing the fish.
Oh my God, I was picturing Homer just backing up into a bush and disappearing. I do kind of get that because, again, it's total darkness, so all you see is just like a little thing, and then they just go and they just disappear. Also, with village people, they always be walking and going around. They always just appear out of nowhere, and then they disappear just as quickly. And I'm like, what kind of little side entrances are you coming from? That's crazy. So now it stopped raining. They're still walking, still a while.
Got 2 kilometers left.
I just can picture the scene of you're walking, total darkness, and you can't see anything. And then lightning.
You're walking in the woods.
You spot him.
From the corner of your eye.
But in lightning, and you're like, oh, this is where we are. Right? Because it's like a light. It's like, whoosh.
Yes.
Especially in total darkness. Yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of like someone flashing a light at you and being like, this is where you are. Cool. So that's what they're experiencing. Now, it was just the three of us and we were walking. Lightning lighting our way. Suddenly, see car lights behind us in the distance. We could hear a car approaching. We were walking in the middle of the road, so we moved to the side so that the car can pass. You know how village people are. Well, at the time, I was a village person as well because I was on holiday. But we stopped and we went to look at the car until it goes, or maybe these people will be kind enough to stop and want to give us a lift. The lights got closer and closer while we stood by the side of the road. The car noise wasn't that loud. It sounded more like the Tesla cars. We kept looking at the lights approaching and we're like, right, this car is almost close to us. But then the lights just dipped and no lights. We were confused. We thought, okay, maybe the car has stopped for us, but why would they switch up their lights? That doesn't make any sense. Mind you, it's pure darkness. Then a bolt of lightning strikes, and when the lightning appeared, our guiding light struck and there was no car. There was that eerie feeling, a weird feeling that's not good for the body. I felt all my hair standing, from the hair on my head to my arms. I could feel everything within me just tense. No, man, this is not right. And then another bolt of lightning just decided to just pow, and I looked by the side of the road and saw a house that is close to my mum's place. At that house, they have like a cemetery, and the whole family passed away, so there's just graves. But the graves are by the road, by the gates. So when you're getting into the gates, the graves are there by the road. And so when the lightning decided to hit, I saw the house and that we were by the grave, and I thought, oh shit. No one spoke to anybody. We just started walking really fast. But you know when you're trying to walk but your feet just betray you and turn into mush? They turn into butter. It felt like an eternity. Even though it was a 3-minute walk, it took us 30 minutes. I don't know what was going on. We were so exhausted. We're trying to walk as fast as we can, but we're not getting anywhere fast enough. By the time we got home, we got into the yard. No one spoke to anybody. We just went to sleep. We didn't speak about it until the next morning. Ghost car.
Vroom, vroom.
Thoughts?
I want to believe in ghosts.
Yes.
I say I want to believe in ghosts. But ghosts are scary. Why would I want to believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
You know, I hear these stories. I do, like, I believe what you see. I wouldn't say, oh, yeah, no, that could be anything, blah, blah, blah. But on the same page, I have to experience it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Now, I'm not saying in that way. I'm just thinking like, okay, if you are a believer and you're hearing this, just as a story in a whole, as someone's experience, it's just so crazy because
I do love the visuals.
Oh my god, yeah, right? Like
although
absolutely fantastic visuals.
Both love it and would hate to experience it.
Of course. Like if it was like watching it on a film or something.
Yes.
This would be a great film visual where you're like, you know, 3 women, vulnerable, walking, drenched, tired, you know, lightning striking to show them where they're going. Just as they think we're almost there, we're in the clear. Boom, car. Cool, maybe you can drop us off. Dips lights. That's it, dipping lights. No matter, before the lightning even came in, the lights dipping, terrifying. Why are you dipping your lights when I've already seen you?
I'd feel like someone's coming to murder me.
Right? I'd be like, that's suspicious behavior right there.
But is it the ghost trying to get them to stop in the perfect place where they'd be in the vicinity of that house cemetery?
Exactly, especially for it to strike and you immediately see it and you're like, crap. Aliens? Wouldn't they have then abducted them as soon as they like...
How else does a 3-minute walk turn into a half an hour?
Yeah, that must have been some kind of like a black house situation.
Because I was trying to think what situations where you lose time.
Yeah.
I have never heard that with ghosts particularly. But aliens?
Aliens.
Yes.
So you think this could be an alien encounter? To be fair, if this is where I think it is, it might be very close to where the aliens like abducted the children. If it is where I think it is.
See? You see?
I don't know.
I'm not saying again.
Yeah. It's just, it's a great story. Terrifying. Great story.
How does a 3-minute walk turn into 30
minutes?
I mean, they had been walking a while.
True.
How long would the walk necessarily be?
What, 5 kilometers?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because like 5 kilometers is like an hour. You should be able to either jog that or something in an hour, someone said.
Jog, but they're walking.
So about, say, 2 hours max.
Should we look it up? Bearing in mind it's raining as well. That's the other things you need to account into that.
So it could be, it was like mushy, like the road was mushy, harder for you to pick up your feet, harder for walk, so it just drains you more because it gets to that point where like the mud starts to grip onto you and it feels more like quicksand trying to keep you down.
About an hour at moderate pace. We'll say an hour and a half with rain
and stuff.
But then that last 3 minutes turning into 30 minutes. I'm just thinking about it. Even if like you walk slow, maybe it'll be like 15 minutes tops. Bearing in mind you have to be subconsciously doing it.
Maybe it's the ghosts getting in their head.
Yes, it's
trying to keep it down.
Yeah, you just... crazy though, because she said that we were trying to walk as fast as we can to get to our destination. I can only imagine like you're like, you know, in a dream where you're like running but you're not going anywhere. It must have felt like that, you know, you're just like, oh.
It sounds... I'm convinced
of
the story.
Okay. Got so excited there.
But again, I don't think I would definitively be able to say I believe in ghosts unless I experience it.
Well, this next one is from me. Surprise, I'm here again. Thought after the exorcism we're out of the trenches. Guess we're freaking out of the trenches.
See, and that just goes to my point that because of your exorcism, you're not more likely not to experience devil work.
I'm not saying
you've been marked by the devil, and now he's had his little...
I rebuke. Devil, be gone. How can you say that to me? First of all, shut your mouth. You cannot tell me that I've been... You cannot tell me that I've been mocked by the devil. Satan, go. Go.
You're the one that hasn't been experienced. Do I? I have not been possessed.
Because I
have not experienced ghosts.
How dare you? That's rude.
I'm
Take
saying,
it back.
Who is God looking after more in this situation?
Take it back. Let's strike 2.
Hey.
Don't let me catch you out in these streets again.
Don't go attacking the person that's blessed by God.
Blessed by God where? Anyway.
Not been possessed and not experienced ghosts. God is loving me right now. You know, he's there like, my favorite child. Oh, and Tash.
I don't know how to respond to this. It was my aunt. She said something to me. She was like, I don't know. She was like, I've never seen a ghost. I think people who see ghosts are a bit weird.
No, it was a precursor to having Alzheimer's.
No, because I've never had Alzheimer's in my life.
Yeah, it's a precursor.
Let me tell the story.
Your story.
Let me tell you the story. This happened recently, 2024. In fact, it was this month of April, literally earlier this month. My family and I go on holiday. We got a family holiday to Kos in Greece, right? Great holiday, good fun. The room we were staying in, right, the layout was, it was a double, like a king bed, and then you had another room, but it was like a slidey. It's a little bit see-through, but not...
Sort of like a paper material?
No, it's glass. But you know the type of glass where, like, in showers...
Oh, so you can't actually see through it, but it's like
but you can see
the silhouette.
Like, the silhouette, exactly. So it was that was the slidey door, and that's where my brother and the twins were sleeping. Shout outs to you guys, by the way. Hey. So because I was drinking so much water and like liquids and stuff, I kept having to wake up to go and pee in the night. So I'll wake up, go and pee, come back, wake up, go and pee, or whatever. So it was about like 3 a.m. or something like that. I wake up, it's like pitch black in the room because they have those like massive blackout like curtains and I've like drawn them to make sure that there's like no light, nothing. So I go switch on the light by my bed, go pee, come out, switch off the light.
You turn the light on to wake all your family up?
No, it doesn't switch on the light in the room that me and my mom were sleeping in, like we're sharing a bed. It only switches off like the little hallway light where the bathroom is. So by the door. You know how in hotels the bathroom is usually right by the entrance. It was literally like that, but it only controlled that bit. There were different lights to control that bit. So I switched on the light there so that I could see where it was. Yeah, no, I didn't switch on the whole thing. Everyone was fast asleep. So go pee, come back. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's get back to sleep. Switch off all the lights, trying to get back to sleep. And then I hear, coming from where my brother's sleeping, he starts talking. Now, I was not aware that he talks in his sleep. Apparently, it's a regular thing. He talks in his sleep. It's normal. I didn't know this. So I was like, First, I just had mumbling. And I was like, what the hell is that? So I thought one of the kids is awake, right? So naturally, I look over by the door. And I'm like, no movement, no nothing. If they are awake, maybe they're doing something like just grabbing a drink or whatever. So I just kind of ignore and try and go back to sleep. Until I hear my brother saying, stop it. So he's like, stop it, go away, stop. Like, stop doing that, I don't like that. And then I was like, hang on a minute, that doesn't sound right. Even if you are like sleep talking, I was like, something might be bothering him. I thought maybe like, again, we're on an island. I thought maybe a creature had come in through the balcony and like, it's just annoying him, whatever. So I'm like, let me keep my ears peeled. But this time I've got my eyes closed because I'm trying to get back to sleep. I don't open them. And I'm not going to lie, him saying, stop it. I was like, put me on the edge a little bit. I was like, okay, weird, right, cool. So I was like, let me just like stay awake. I'm going to keep my eyes closed. I'm not going to move and just act like I'm asleep. Just got my eyes closed. And he keeps going. He keeps talking. And I'm like, my God, stop. And then I thought, he's just sleep talking. It's fine. He stops talking. So I relax. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep. Great, he stopped. Then I hear like weirdness going on. I hear like, I don't know, it just sounded like something was shimmying, maybe a bit of movement. Again, at the time I thought he's asleep. Like he's just moving in his sleep because there's like 3 whole other people next door. And the twins like move a lot in their sleep. So I thought it must be one of them, whatever. And then I thought, oh, maybe like Malachi's got up to go and annoy like Nathaniel, kids, whatever. So I opened my eyes a little bit. And that's when I see a figure on the, like I said, it was the
silhouette.
Closed door. Silhouette on the other side. It was like too short to be my brother, but also too tall to be any one of the twins. I just had like shimmying, but I didn't hear like footsteps or whatever. It's tiled, so you kind of hear like a little, didn't hear anything of that. I opened my eyes and I looked over, I saw it, and I was like, oh, I shut my eyes so fast. And I was like, oh my God. What do I do? So I'm like panicking a little bit. Then I'm like, did someone come in the room? Is someone in the room? Like, is someone over there? Is that what that was? Like, what do? I know I need to go and check on him, but I'm terrified because I'm like, I don't want to do that. And then my brother starts talking some more and I'm like, oh my God, no, please, God, no, please. So I'm like, okay, if he doesn't stop in the next minute, I'm going to have to do something about it. So I start praying. I'm like, again, shut my face. I'm literally like, my acting 10 out of 10. I'm just laying there still, having this whole freak out, just like eyes closed, just like there. And anytime I needed to open my eyes, I just, the thing you do where you kind of just,
the little squint.
The little squint. I'll do the squint just to see if the shadow's still there. So I was like, oh my God, okay. And then I was like, okay, this is not working. If I'm going to see this, I need to see it properly. I can't do the little squint because that's going to... So I open and the shadow's gone. And I was like, again, didn't hear any kind of disappearing of any shadow. So I was like, God damn it. So I wake my mum up and mum is like annoyed. Obviously, I just woke up. I was like, boom, Mum. I didn't hit her, but I did kind of shove her a little bit hard to be like, so she would really wake up. And she was like, what? And I was like, I think there's something near the kids' room. And she's like, what? And I was like, I heard talking and I saw something's going on. And she's like, go and check. And I was like, what?
She's going to have to Scooby-Doo
it. Go and check. Yeah. And I was like, I kind of regret waking you up now. In my head, I'm like, wow, I really did not expect this. I thought you would go and check. Damn. She's like, it's fine. I'm here. Turn on the light. Go and check. And I was like,
and you checked?
I had to. I turned on the lights. I turned them on. And I was like, so I went, opened the doors, and I checked. I looked over to where the twins were sleeping. Fast asleep. No movement coming from them. It was like, I forgot to mention, but when I woke up to be, it was eerily quiet. There was no sound of nothing. Like literally to the point where my footsteps walking together was kind of loud because I was like, the kids snore. All of them do. So that's why I noticed that it was quiet. Because when I woke up, I was like, no one's snoring. Damn, that's crazy. Like, that's such a change. So when I went to check on them, still not even really moving. And I'm like,
sure wasn't
okay.
That fake sleep?
They're not gonna, like, they were fast asleep. So I was like, then I looked at Nathaniel. He was like that, covering his face. Like, his arm was like literally on his face. And he was like into the wall pretty much, just like there, face into the wall. Then I was like, right, okay. He didn't talk when I had the lights on and I was in there. Said nothing. So I was like, okay, there's nothing in here. Looked behind the curtains. Again, I was like, I want to be sure. Because we'd kind of low-key annoyed our buddy next door. So I was like, just in case he's a kind of a crazy person and he's come in to kind of try and kill one of us. So I was like, we should check behind the curtains, checked on the balcony, nothing. So I was like, then my mom was like, did you find something? I was like, no. The next morning, my mom was like, what the hell was that all about? Like, why did you wake me up? What's going on? So I told my brother, I told the twins what happened. And then they were all like, oh, my brother was freaked out because, you know, he was like, he's kind of like a calm, chill person. But the moment I started talking, he's like, no, tell me more. Like, excuse me. Like, why didn't you go?
This is my
he's
line.
like, why didn't you go and check when the shadow was there? And I was
I'm
like,
not going to lie. That
no.
is a red flag.
I was like, no. I was like, I love you. You're my brother-in-law, but I see a figure. I'm not getting up to go and check what it is. Are you insane?
If that was that Shannon story and you open the door to see that the little child messing with like her feet, I'm just picturing you doing the Homer Simpson, closing the door, walking away like, that is now someone else's child. That's not my problem.
What?
I will go have another child.
What are you expecting me to do in this situation? I am not equipped. I don't have a rosary on me. I have no cross. I got nothing on me. I can't do. I can't do anything.
Baptized
What's
by
that
the
got
Lord.
to do with anything?
It means you.
I prayed, didn't I? Prayed in bed. Like, God, please. I was out there like spitting game like no one's ever done it before.
He could have been snatched, gone out of the hotel in a van, never seen again, and you were just there. Oh, let me just, pray. Let me not go and, just double check this to see if there is a man stealing my siblings.
If I had heard substantial movement, I would have gone and checked. If he had said yes, then that would have been different, because I would have been like, his soul is agreeing to some stuff. Let me go check on him. Is he okay? But he said no right then and then. And when I opened my eyes again, it was gone. So I thought a mixture of him saying no and me praying has saved us both. You're welcome, brother.
Yeah, but let's say it was a kidnapper.
If it was
and
a kidnapper,
just there
I'm
watching the
sure
situation.
They would have just assumed I had fallen back asleep and continued with what they were doing. Eyes closed, no movement, no nothing. For a while. So he would just assume
it's now perfect time to steal a kid.
Yeah. And then I would have had movement and been like, surprise, I'm not asleep. I was saying a prayer.
If it was an experienced kidnapper, child gone.
But then they would have had to walk past where me and my mum were staying in order to leave the room. Unless they had like a helicopter or a rope. Because we were quite high up. It wasn't like we were on the bottom floor or anything. We were really, really high up. So there was no way they would have escaped. And it's not one of those balconies that are connected by a little thing where you can just jump to the next one. Like, it's quite wide. So if you're carrying someone, you are going to need to go out the front door in order to get this. Because there's no way.
I do not believe that would be a ghost.
You don't?
No.
Maybe not a ghost, but it was definitely not a good thing, whatever it was. It was definitely trying to convince him to do something.
First off,
it was the no was so like, no, stop, I don't like this, no.
See, but if your brother's used to speaking in his sleep, then that's...
No, we then tested this because he didn't know he spoke in his sleep. Well, he kind of like had a suspicion, but he didn't believe it. So he then downloaded an app and he recorded himself the next night and listened to what he was saying. And all of it was a bunch of nonsense that didn't even form into like a coherent narrative or a sentence. But this one was coherent.
Maybe he used up all his words the night before.
I honestly was shook when this happened because I thought I had gone past it.
They're now getting more attracted to you, like a magnet for this stuff.
If I have to do another one, I will, because I don't want to experience this anymore. I'm okay. I'm done. Connor's willing.
I'm not willing.
You said you would want to experience it with yourself.
I said
here he is.
I would have to experience it myself.
You hear that?
To believe.
He has to.
Not wants to, would have to. That doesn't mean it's not a free invitation for hauntings. It's if it happens.
It happens.
Then I might believe.
Okay.
But again, looking back on the experience, do you not believe there could be another explanation for it, like twins in a trench coat situation?
Oh, I'm not gonna. If they had been just footprints, just anything, I would have been like, okay, someone stood up and like. But it was so.
But are you looking for reasons for someone to be in the room rather than looking for a reason to explain what it could have been? Could it have just been like curtains or some way, like forming a shape or something?
When I told you that,
the door
blackout, like there wasn't even a reason for there to be a shadow like that in the first place, because after I turned off the lights, there was no light coming from anywhere. There was no reason for this to form at all. Honestly, I'd rather it just be nothing, because then I know nothing was like trying to get my brother and he was just, having a weird dream maybe or whatever. But yeah, that would be my option if I could choose. Just be like, it was nothing. I was just freaked out, blah, blah, blah.
You're
I can't
convinced it's a
dispute
ghost.
what I saw. If anyone else had said it, I would literally be like, it was just this, it was just this, you're just being like this, blah, 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 blah. But yeah. And like with the stories when they're talking about the feelings that they had when it was happening, like I had all of those exact same things, like so indescribable, but it's very like, oh, and time feels very, very slow. I now wish you had come with me, because it would have been you. I'd have been waking up like, hey, yo, go check, see what's going on. Our last ghost story of the day. This is actually my favorite one, I will say, just because it's straight out of, again, this person is from the same person as Last Time Memory. She said she's had a few, which I find fascinating. I'm going to try and get her to send us the whole catalogue.
It sounds like she needs an exorcism. I'm just putting it out there. It might be worth looking into.
Are you ready? I've had a lot of weird encounters. With this specific one, it's about this certain house close to where I stay. There's this group I joined on Facebook for houses, properties for rent in my area.
That's so weird. I get like naked singles in my area. I guess there's a community for everything.
Stop it. So every month there's an agent who puts up a cottage, a room to rent, etc. So I started noticing this specific house every month for rent, and it was reasonably priced. But then every month it would be the same house. So in my mind I thought, oh, well, maybe this is a scam, because there's scammers who always put up houses for rent that are not available or don't exist. Then one person on our Facebook asked, how come this house is always listed every month when it has a reasonable price? And someone commented below in the post and they said, well, I stay right next to this place. It's haunted. Every person who moves in, moves out. You can't even stay a week. Maybe 2 weeks maximum in that house. It is haunted. And people were asking, what happens? What happens? Nobody really knew, but it was just assumptions made by neighbors. The post generated a lot of debate, and then people were like, no, we need to go and see for ourselves. Let's open up our own little WhatsApp group, and we go as a group and have a sleepover to see if this is true. Question, would you join the sleepover? Would you do it? I know, it's crazy, but...
Do I know the rest of the people from the Facebook group, or are these just random people?
They all live within the same sort of area. Not like super know each other, but you kind of like, you are neighborly. Like,
so it's not just like, I don't know, like a Craigslist situation in America
no.
You wouldn't even know them, you just meet them.
No.
I wouldn't do it in that situation.
No. Let's say there was like a flat in the same building that they were like, it's for rent. And then you see someone say, I heard it's haunted, and people move out 2 weeks after moving in. Again, because if you're moving out 2 weeks after you move in, guess what you're losing? That month's rent that you've paid.
Yeah.
So you've got to be like running out there scared in order for you to leave. So if in that situation we were all like, let's in a WhatsApp group, should we go and stay the night in that place? Bear in mind you can leave at any point.
If I knew them a little bit better, yeah. I'd do it.
So that's the bit that's terrifying to you.
Well, yeah, because I would be more scared that someone was going to kill me that I knew rather than a ghost.
That's such English thinking, I think, because here everyone is sus. You trust no one in England. Like,
yeah,
everyone is a suspect.
That's why I'm already like, oh, let me not just go straight in there.
It's not the same mentality in like African communities and stuff. Like you kind of just like, unless you are unlucky, you're not running into a psycho like that.
Let's see, if it was like more people I knew, hung out with, knew for a fact I wasn't going to get murdered, I would go and stay in the house.
Okay. I would not. I don't know. I'm scared of everything, so I don't know.
I feel like you would be very much a person, if something did happen, you would just assume it's the ghost.
No. Why? Why would you assume this?
Because you're a superstitious person.
Oh, no. Okay, I wouldn't go, but then I would also kind of have FOMO for not going. You know what I mean? Because, everyone we're talking about, they'd be like, oh my God, remember that time we went? And then I'll be like, oh, maybe I should have gone. But then also I'm like, no, because I don't want to cry.
You're not going to get murdered, though.
How do you know? You haven't heard the rest of the story. You haven't heard the rest of the story.
I bet no one dies.
What? Are you ready to take that bet right now? How much? So after they set up the WhatsApp group and they go, we contact the agent and tell him our plans so we can come back with feedback. I'm a lover of things, especially these supernatural things. I love them, so I'm there. I join the group. We decide on a day, a weekend, a Saturday. We get there and then we just sleep over to see if anything happens. We're there, we're in Shona, we say, Tangachisim Sana, meaning we are making each other stronger, egging each other on, saying, let's just go, let's go. You know, there's 8 of us, so we're like, what can happen to 8 people?
Ghost faces.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, if I was gonna go, I'd make sure to bring some iron, and I would bring salt.
This iron thing is literally just a supernatural thing.
It's purity. Or something like that. It was supposed
Holy
to be...
water is what you should be bringing.
Against ghosts, I just don't see it. Because
I feel like holy water in any instance, just have it ready. Have
Drink
a
it.
bottle. Drink it. I used to actually drink it. Anyway, back to the story.
Although, imagine the priest was, I don't know, a Satanist, and you've been drinking tainted holy water.
Well, he wasn't. Because at this point, like, surely I would have felt the side effects.
Yeah, it's all the ghost and the possession that's been going on in your life.
This has been a serious thing that's been happening in my life, and you're making fun of it.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm genuinely terrified that now I'm a part of your life. I am going to get the rebound ghost attacks.
Oh, my goodness. All I'm saying, guys, is I've had enough. I've experienced enough. I'm a believer. Some people over here haven't, and they're looking for an excuse.
You know what, ghosts?
No, we live together. Don't invite spirits into this house. Oh my God! You're so annoying.
Which way do you want it? Which way do you want it? Do you want me to get permission or do you not?
You can do that when you're on your own. Not in this house, though. You're not allowed to do that in this house. No. I rebuke. Can't believe it. We're going to judge after this. Anyway, back to the story. Damn. So, it was like 4 or 5 guys and 3 ladies who like things, especially me. Then we met up on a Saturday, and I went. You know how it is, just meeting, enjoying each other's company. It's like a little breezy, you know, a few drinks here and there, just winding up time. So the only thing we carried was our blankets since we were sleeping there. It's an empty house, so we're sleeping on the floor. A bit later, we're trying to stay enthusiastic, but at the same time, you're scared as well.
Wait, empty house, like, is literally
Empty
nothing.
house, it's vacant.
Again, that makes it...
It's for rent.
Yeah, but that makes it a little bit creepy.
Oh, I mean, the whole situation is creepy. You're solely there to see if there's anything there. Do you know what I mean? You don't really know what you're getting into. And we're like, cool. And no one wanted to actually fall asleep, so people are scared. And I was like, yeah, should we take turns sleeping, or are we just gonna sleep at random times, or are we just gonna fall asleep at the same time? Then, you know, we'll see what happens. And they were like, no, because if we take turns sleeping, nothing's going to happen because people will be awake. So it was around, I think, 11 p.m. And funny enough, everyone just fell asleep at the same time. There's that strong urge to sleep. It felt like you got drugged and then you just fell asleep. So we fell asleep. I think around 2 or 3 a.m., we just heard a loud sound in the kitchen, and it sounded like a plate breaking. This plate was so loud that everyone woke up startled. What is it? And at that point, no one wanted to go and investigate more because we all knew no one had carried a plate. There was nothing in the house, literally nothing in the house. When we went, we only went with our blankets. No one carried no plates and no spoons, no no cutlery. So the plate, one plate down, and then something else, a loud smash. Sounded like a cup or whatever. And then we were just like, what? And you know that feeling, that it's always the same feeling where your hair is just rising and it's just like you feel it, that something's not right here and you won't even be able to move. Then one of the guys decided to switch on the lights. But when he stood up to switch on the light, it's like, my way, it's like someone held his hand so that he couldn't be able to switch on the light. And we were all shaking in fear. And you know, at that time as well, you're paralyzed. Your hairs are standing and you're feeling weak and numb. And then you just feel dizzy. It's like there's something happening, like you've been drugged. That's the feeling. And we were just all stuck and we're shivering and everyone was just silent, not saying anything. And then we hear footsteps. We see someone actually moving around the house. I'm trying to reach for my phone to switch on the torch or have sunlight at least. I try to, but I can't switch on my phone. It just seems like it's dead. And I just think maybe it was just fear. You know how it is, it's fear. And you know with iPhones, you just press the side button and then there's the light. Then you swipe up or passcode, whatever. But then I couldn't even press any button. I couldn't do anything. My phone was just black and there was just those footsteps. And it was footsteps of a female wearing heels. And it was just up and down. And we're all huddled up in a corner and we're all scared. No one is saying anything. The men are supposed to be guiding us to go and open the door so we can just run away, but no one is moving, and my legs are paralyzed. Everything is just haywire from then onwards. And then we started hearing a woman laughing. that night was so long because I think it was around 2. I wouldn't even check the time because my phone or anyone's phone was not working at the time, which is weird, or it was just fear. Then there's one of the ladies, she was like, no. I think at this time she decided to be like, guys, let's pray. Let's pray, or we'll die here. Let's pray. Anyway, everyone just got into prayer mode and we're praying, casting out any demons or entities or anything. We're just praying for our safety, we're praying for God to come and be our light. I'm not a prayer warrior, but I was like, I'm going to pray the same. And I prayed. We just felt coolness, like something just left, and there was like a case of wind. Then the lights came on. As soon as the lights came on, hey, we just took our blankets and got the hell out of there. Never again. So the stories from that house were like, whenever people moved in, they would wake up and then they'd be outside. Same order as how you set up your bed, your TV, your sofas, everything. You just wake up outside on your bed. Or at night, they would hear a woman washing dishes, cleaning the house, sweeping, or they'll hear a woman laughing or crying. They never went back to that house again.
It's a strange one. It's a strange one. But I'm not going to lie. If I heard like a bunch of people were going to sleep at a haunted house, I am 100% going to mess with them.
Bear in mind, the only person who could have messed with them is the landlord. Because that was the only person outside of the group who knew that they were going to go on that specific...
I don't know. If there was like a WhatsApp group, people would have talked about it to like other people and been like, oh, you know what we're doing? Oh, do you know what's happening? Do you know what they're doing? They're going to go stay in that like so-called haunted house or whatever. Should get someone that wants to mess with you.
But then that's such a gamble because you don't know how people are going to react in fear. Like, I get what you mean. People would do that.
Yeah.
But if you're the person who does that, you're kind of dumb because some people in fear get so much adrenaline. They could hunt you down and kill you. Literally, they could have been like, the footsteps are coming from here. Bam, jumped on you. You're gone. You don't even know what's going on. It's a prank. They're not going to think about that at the time. They're just going to think, oh my God, it's a witch.
Well, they could think, oh, how am I touching this ghost?
But they didn't even think it could also have been a witch. They didn't really specifically think, oh, it's a ghost. Sometimes I think, is it witch activity or is it a ghost? Whatever it is it a spirit that's doing something or is it a Satanist as well? That's another thing because you're not thinking about that. You're just scared at that point and you're just reacting out of fear. And it's still spooky.
So I'm guessing no one's still in that house.
I don't know. I mean, if they're not, if we go,
we could stay in it.
We could stay in it. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
The story, very gripping. Had me.
Yeah, great. She's a great storyteller. Fantastic.
But again, I would have to experience it because I feel like my mind would just rationalize things and just be like, oh, but the fact that no one went to look either. Yeah. There could be something that would explain where these noises are coming from. It's just
grandma washing the house in heels.
Classic. Classic at 2 o'clock at night, But no, there could have been something that could, like, I don't know, explain it. Pipes.
Something like someone laughing. They're
gas. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
But I feel like there could be an explanation. I just don't know. I just don't know. It's that the fact that whenever I try and think of ghosts, there's so many steps for a ghost to be a thing. Because if one ghost exists in that house, why do not more ghosts exist in other houses? Why? Because
something tragic happened in that house.
True, but there's tragic things probably happen in a lot of houses, considering how many years have gone by, how many people have died.
In Shannon's story, she said as soon as the construction stuff happened, it stopped. Maybe it's more of the fact that it's houses that haven't really been updated properly.
Yeah, but then why would fixing the house or renovating the house kick it out?
Maybe they're replacing a part of it that it's attached to, as they're doing right. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm like just as baffled as you are here. It's all very like... Wow, I mean, it's insane. In my head, I'm just thinking, like, at the end of the day, the landlord wants to make money, and if there's no one in that house, they're not making any money. Do you get me? So... Yeah,
but what if he has a nemesis, and the nemesis is the person coming to try and convince people that there's a ghost in there?
That's such a long... Because you're going to need to dedicate your time. Anytime anyone's in that house, you're basically going to need to be like, right, I need to make sure that I'm free at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's so petty.
That's why I said nemesis and not enemy. Because only a nemesis petty. Would be that dedicated to taking them down.
Yeah. Freaking wild, though. Has anything changed your mind at all? Or are you still like...
I would say the stories have got me more intrigued.
Yeah.
I think from research-wise, it's different from hearing real-life stories.
Oh, yeah.
real life stories are more, I don't know, scary.
I know. It's because it can happen to anyone. We had like different locations in these, and it's just kind of like,
Especially children ghosts. Children ghosts scarier than all ghosts.
Terrifying. But I really enjoyed that. I thought that was quite different. That was quite cool. Hearing all the stories and like reading them, people telling them. It's been so fascinating. It's just kind of like, whoa, like, damn, that happened to you, and you're just chilling out here being a normal person.
Part of where my doubt comes from is probably I'm scared to believe that ghosts exist as well.
Yeah.
Because if I start to believe that ghosts exist, then that means any noise I hear in the night could be.
But like a Talk to Me, right? Because we both love Talk to Me. If you haven't watched it, it's a horror film. It's fantastic. Not all of the ghosts that were coming were like evil. A lot of them were just kind of like confused, you know, or a bit like, where am I? What is going on? What's happening? And some of them were just like, I wanted to be a singer when I was alive and I never got to do it. Now that I'm in this body, I'm just going to sing. I like doing it, whatever. Some of them might just be like, I used to live here. Crazy because of how different it is, you know? I'd
say if any regular ghosts can come into your house, it makes it more welcoming for evil ones to come. It's like, oh yeah, look, this is like a hub of activity sort of thing. Like, oh, this is a cool nightclub. Let me go check it out.
But if everywhere is a hub, then doesn't that mean they'll just like, no, I wouldn't say like welcome, but doesn't that mean they can just go anywhere?
I wouldn't say anywhere's a hub. I'd say maybe once you have enough activity, it helps boost it up. Because there's like ley lines, isn't there? Like energy ley lines, something. Maybe some of like spirits are more powerful and can like branch out, and then that creates like a stream for people to follow and go off.
So I also feel like they can't control what happens. I feel like some of them are better at controlling what they can move or how they can interact with the real world more than others. I do like the idea of it kicking the person out gently, you know, where it doesn't even wake you up. You just kind of suddenly wake up and your TV, your sofas, everything's outside and you're like, oh, I've been evicted. Great. How low would rent have to be for you to stay somewhere like that?
I have to keep moving my stuff back in.
Yeah.
100 quid.
100 quid.
100 quid a month.
100 quid a month. Obviously, imagine how much money you would save if you only paid £100 a month.
Like, imagine waking up and you're like late for work, and now you have to move all your stuff back into your house before you go to work. I mean, imagine trying to explain that to your boss. Oh, I'm sorry. A ghost moved all my stuff outside, and I had to put it back in my house before I left, so you know no one would rob me.
Just wake up early. It's fine. It's fine. It's only £100 rent. You probably don't even need to work that many hours a day. You literally just work part-time.
True, but still, yeah, you have to get. You need a reason to get out of the house of where the ghost is.
Work late shifts. That way you're never in the house and the activity's booming. We found a solution. Should we go?
I don't think that's a solution.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
You can still be around during the day.
Oh, well, they're not as active. Plus, it's not as scary. Someone cleaning your house for you during the day.
That happens to the Kardashians all the time. They think their house is haunted. Like, Jesus Christ, what just happened? I swear we just messed this place up.
But yeah, those have been the ghost stories of some of our listeners. And thank you so much for submitting. Thank you so much for listening as well. It's been really fun hearing what other people like kind of have in mind.
Yeah, if you do have any more ghost stories or supernatural stories, send them in. Send them our way. We'll have a look at them and, create a segment.
And also on any of the other topics that we've talked about as well. If you have some crazy mermaid encounters or some crazy djinn encounters, be sure to send them through and we'll be able to read them out and discuss them.
Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.